Alright, so what I want to talk to you about and what I want to do is replace all of these portholes. Now there's a couple of reasons for that. They're not nicely in line, but secondly, they look nothing like the portholes on the actual ship. These are actually grommets, which seem to be about the same size as the ones that you get when you buy a new servo. But this looks nothing like the real thing. This is a picture of the ship, and what you can see is that the whole thing is very nicely let into the side of the ship, and then it has this eyebrow over the top of it. Now that's the look that I want to achieve. So the question is, how do you do this without driving yourself completely mad? Well, look, it's going to drive you mad, but it's going to be fantastic when it's done. This is what I really like doing. Okay, so what I want to show you first are these eyelets that I got off eBay. They're just for standard dressmaking, and they've got a bronzy sort of colour. It really doesn't matter at the end of the day what colour they have, but you can see they're quite big. But they also have these little brackets that go behind them that are pushed on, glued. I don't know what they're going to do with those. But ultimately, this makes a perfect start for being able to replace the portholes on that ship. So I'm going to keep you in suspense for a moment about how we're going to do that. So the first thing that I'm going to do is arrange for my punch, which happens to be a perfect fit with this drill. And now we're going to use the drill press. I'll be doing this in groups of 5. As you know, I've got this little tool here to enable me to set the drill up just very gently. And so here I've got some clear plastic, and I'm just going to now chip out some of these. Okay, so I've left a little hole in the back of here so I can push out the little windows. So we've now got 8 little windows sitting there. So the next step, the next step is to take our grommet, whatever it is, and we're going to put the window in. So I'll take them one by one, and I'm just going to put it into that end like that. And now we're going to use this little component to push it in neatly into the tube. I've got another little drill here just to tap it in, and there it is. You can see the glass in there very nicely. So I'm going to do that with all of the windows. Then when I've got them all done, I'm just going to pour some epoxy into there, and you can see that I've done that with all of those. So the epoxy is in the windows, stops the thing from leaking. It's all very, very good. Now these little brackets that sit behind, what I'm going to do is cut them in half just with some fine pliers. And that's what you can see right there. Now the next job is to take a drill that will fit exactly, to the size of that of the grommet, and drill it into the ship. There we are. Now, as I do this, obviously I'm going to be straightening them all up as we go along. The next step is going to be to take these finished windows and push them onto the inside of the ship so that that is protruding. Now I've got my little bracket, whatever you want to call this, a little tool here. When I press that against there, I've got exactly the same protuberance for each porthole, and I will then glue it in on the inside of the ship, and that'll be sealed. The final step will be to gently glue on the eyebrow, and there you have, I think, the close to a perfect porthole. So I'm going to work my way through this until I've got, as I said, about 220 of these, and then start putting them in, and it's going to look brilliant. Okay, these are the few left. These have all been created. This is the collection. Alright, so I put this line along here, and I'm using this Dremel bit. It's not a drill bit, it's a something or other bit. I don't know what it's called. Part of my problem at the moment. So consequently now I've just opened them all up, and now I'm just running along with this because this is exactly the size of the drill that I want. So I've got all of these now in place. I've run here some tape on either side, and I've given it a fairly solid coat, fiberglass resin, over all of that, so that it seals all of the portholes. So now that I've got the access down under here, I'm going to place this piece of hull back in place just with masking tape. And I'm going to use filler with a brush, and I'm going to paint it into all of the cracks, and then we just let it go. And I think once I've done that, I'll then give it another coat of epoxy in order to seal it all up. This will be sealed really well in the end, but then I'll rip all of this off and see what I need to do with filler once again to try and get it all square. It's never going to be perfect.